Hi everyone, and welcome back to the studio for the pod series. So I'm actually having lots of fun creating all these pods. I do love them. And okay, the next one in our series is going to be flattening. Like the simplest concept ever, but it can change something completely. So I'm just going to show you a few different things. We're not only going to flatten these ones that we've already created, I'm going to show you a couple of different variations so that you've got something else that you can play around with as well. All right, if you have seen the very first video in the series, you would know how to create like a simple pod bead. If you watched the second video, you know how to create all these curved beads. So now we're going to work on flattening these pieces and doing a couple of other things as well. So it's simply a matter of grabbing yourself an acrylic sheet, block, whatever you need, whatever you've got on hand as far as something that is a flat surface that can press. Now I have cleaned this really well. Sometimes you can use baking paper on these if you want to, if it does get a bit sticky, or if you're working with a sticky clay, but more often than not, it's simply a matter of pressing down on the clay evenly so that you've got even pressure on this one anyway. And use a tissue blade always to remove that from the work surface, and you kind of create a very different looking piece. So let's pull this one in. This was our original pod bead. So let's see what happens when we flatten this one. I'm going to get a nice diamond shape. In actual fact, this one was our sea urchin spine shape. Just removing that carefully. And you can see that by flattening that one, we've created a really cool shape. So, you know, you can kind of play around and do all sorts of different things. Now, let's pull this one in because these, and I might pull this one in as well and do both together. So let's flatten these both and see what happens. In actual fact, I should have just done them individually, which I will. I'll have to pull this up because, of course, this one was fatter than the other one. So we'll pull him out of the way. He needs a bit of tweaking anyway. So I'm just going to press down and you can see the shapes. I mean, they turn out so beautifully. I really love them. If it gets stuck like that, remove with your tissue blade in one foul swoop. And then you can neaten, of course, with pop some baking paper over the top and neaten them up. So that's kind of a really nice little shape. Same with this one. Just give it a good press down. And that one's stuck as well, but that's okay. So you can see, just can create a whole variety of different shapes just by flattening those ones that you've already done. You can see the curvy one can work quite well. This is the spiral that's been flattened, so they can work really beautifully. All right, so that is just a simple matter of flattening your shape, like not rocket science really. So let's pull this one in. This is just a very rough pod shape. I'm just going to move these guys out of the way. So let's pull this one in, and I want to show you, I'm just going to make a pod not too elongated, just kind of simple like this. Flatten the ends up on him. Nice simple little process. And then I'm going to bring my, actually I'm going to get my smaller acrylic block And I'm just going to press, lift up, and rotate 90 degrees. Press down, lift up. Notice I haven't gone all the way. You can actually see how far I've pressed down on this piece. So what I'm doing, I'm actually creating a square section in the middle of this bead, and you can see that I've got nice square, well, kind of not super square, not sharp edges or anything, but you kind of get the picture. It's just another thing that you can do and another variation to these pods as well. I think they're really cool. I like that one. And the last little one I'm going to show you, because I actually think that, you know, because this is so simple, you can just play around and do whatever it is you want to do. So I'm going to make, actually I'm going to make more like a spike for this one. Oh, I'll put it this way. So to make a kind of a spike bead, we'll kind of taper half, we'll just taper kind of one half mostly, and then the other one I'm going to leave relatively flat. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I've got, so this piece here, I'm going to position my large piece on an angle, and I'm going to press down, lift up, and I'm going to turn a 90-degree angle, and I'm going to press down. So similar concept to this guy, but I'm creating like a squared off spike, if that kind of is what you would call it. It's what I'm going to call it. So I've got a nice square here, and I could, if I wanted to, continue that square up to the top section here. I would need to flatten it a little bit more here so that it was, sorry, so that this end was wider than this, and then I can taper the whole lot. Can you see it's working all the way up to here now? So I can taper the entire piece. So again, you just work around the sides, turning a 90-degree angle each time, and you get a very cool looking piece like this. So there you are. So many amazing, gorgeous pieces that you can create by simply flattening your clay. Who would have thought? All right, so that is, as I said, a very simple concept, but, you know, something kind of really cool to keep in mind. All right, so that is it for today's video. I'm going to be doing a few more in the pod series, so keep a lookout, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining me, guys. Bye for now.